Hey there, this is Gil. We're now working on our rocket program stage 2, and this is going to show more refactoring. Remember, our first refactoring was just the whole rocket in one big huge string. So this stage 2 is going to have a multiple refactors as well. So remember, I like to start with everything that I'm using up here so I can see it in a comment. And I put line numbers here just so I could have it for reference. And what we're going to be working on is the top half of the stage 2. And then I also use variables. I really like to get everything from using strings to using variables so I can see just quickly where the patterns are. We have sides, we have filler, and we have diamonds. Not the best variable names, but they'll do. Okay, so just like the cone, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to refactor by line. So let's just cut and paste. You should be familiar. If you haven't looked at the cone, go look at the cone video. So for every line in line 1, line 2, line 3, we're going to implement the pattern. That's line 1. You can see it's got one side. It's got 2 fillers, it's got 1 diamond, it's got 4 fillers in the middle, it's got 1 diamond on the right side, and then 2 fillers on the right after that, and then 1 side. And the same with line 2, you can see how we have 1 side, 1 filler, 2 diamonds, 2 fillers, 2 diamonds, 1 filler, 1 side. So line 3 again is looking at this line. We have 1 side, 0 fillers, but we still want to have a filler variable, 3 diamonds, 0 fillers, 3 diamonds, 0 filler, and the last side on the right. So let's double check that that does what we want. And there you go. You see how we have stage 2, upper stage 2. So now let's see if we can get that even more refined, right? So using just one statement. So one print statement. So let's leave our first one there as well. And we have, again, you don't have to print the line, but I like to do it. So we know that side is always going to stay the same. So we don't have anything that we need to monkey with side. Right? And filler, we go from 2, 1, 0. Right? So 2 fillers to 1 filler to 0 filler. And so that's following 3 minus line. Again, I'm 1 based. If you're 0 based, you'd have a little bit different numbers, but both of these will work. So now we have diamond. That's just following a line. And then the filler is the interesting one, right? The filler goes from 4, 2 to 0. So I'm going to kind of just leave that one right now. Let's just fill them all. The other ones are the easy ones. So then we got diamonds, just following a line. We got filler, matching the filler on the other side, which is 3 minus line. Okay, so we got the last filler plus side. So that should get us everything except the middle filler. So what's going on with the middle filler, right? Well, it starts at 4, goes to 2, goes to 0. So kind of one of the things I wanted to do in experimenting, so I'm going to just print what I think will implement that pattern first, right? So if I have 5 minus 1, I know that will start with 4, right? But I have to also, I can't just do that, right? Because that'll just follow 1. So I have to always subtract 2, right? So I'm like, okay, let's just try line. If I subtract line, what does that do? So let's just run it instead of, all right, multiply by 9 sequence. Did I get my side times? Sometimes I get the, oh yes, I put a parentheses and I didn't put in. Let's put anything in for the middle filler. Let's just put in 1 for now. We'll get there as soon as we figure out what is supposed to happen. Okay. So what did that do, right? So I'm looking at my refactor. It went from 3, 2 to 1. Oh yeah, I want to do 5 minus line. And so let's run that. So I kind of have something, but I think to be subtracting, I want to subtract 1 less, right? So this is empirical, but let's look at what that does. Okay, so now I got my variable that I printed 4, 2, 0 to follow the same pattern for the filler that I did in Refactor 2, 4, 2, 0. So let's try that one. So I'm going to replace the filler 1. Make sure that you use parentheses to gather everything together so the math comes out right. And let's try it. So you see they're now matched. So we can separate them here. So we have Refactor 3. Just run it again so it's a little easier to see. Refactor 2, Refactor 3 are the same, but I needed Refactor 2 in order to get to Refactor 3. I didn't go all the way there, so that's why it's really important not to dive in to make your code too small. Let's start simple. Alright, hopefully that helped and you can use these tips to finish the rocket. Good luck!